Glad that's a thing.
Dear Dr. LRR, have any of you ever foiled a crime? I have.
Really?
I did foil a crime.
How?
I was up one night at like 2 a.m. working on my computer, which is in the living room, and I heard outside, because we're on the 3rd floor of a building, but when our windows are open, they open like this, and then sound from directly below
'cause it comes right
bounces right inside. And I heard like jingling, like chains or whatever. And I looked out the window, and there was a guy on a bike, like wandering around the bike rack down that's directly below our window, like grabbing bike chains and like checking them and like moving bikes around and like sort of testing them, I guess, which could have not necessarily been suspicious, except I took another step forward, the floor creaked, and he whipped round, looked up and saw me, and just took off. And I was like, oh, really?
I'm curious, though, if he was already on a bike.
He was looking for others to steal.
Well,
assume.
okay, so if
I don't know how
theoretically,
I don't know how he would have got away.
was he going to double bike? Like, how do you steal a bike on a bike?
I don't know.
Straight up.
I sort of
Looking to
accidentally foiled a
upgrade.
crime as well.
Oh, yeah?
I was hanging out with my friend who was a cop, and we were walking by McDonald's at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and some guys were like, "Hey, bro." Pretty much. No, but then they asked if we wanted to buy cocaine.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And I was like,
So you stopped a crime by not buying cocaine?
no, I stopped a crime by hanging out with a cop friend who
Oh.
then called his buddies in and was like, hey, these guys are trying to sell us coke. So that happened.
Nice.
I was at a Magic tournament not too long ago, actually, just a couple months ago, on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and everyone who's finished their rounds or was on a bye went out of the store to get some food. And we all walked out as this big group, and this guy comes tearing down the road with a lady coming out of a shop behind him, and she's like, he stole a necklace, he stole a necklace, stop that guy, stop that guy. And so a bunch of Magic players, myself included, just basically surrounded him.
Nice.
And we're like,
What you gonna do?
yeah, and he like, there was no tackling or anything involved, but he's just like, I'm surrounded by people, I guess. So he gave it back and then bolted.
Wow.
So you declared blockers and
I'm glad that he stopped, because if he hadn't, I don't know what we would have done.
Good point.
I put out a house fire.
What?
I did. I got a certificate from the fire department.
Really?
I did.
Was it your house?
No, it was my neighbor's house was on fire.
Oh my.
And okay, so weirdest set of coincidences. We were moving out of our house, and I was packing the kitchen, and I had a box, and I had my fire extinguisher, my kitchen fire extinguisher, and it was too tall to fit in the box. So I'm standing at my kitchen sink, which looks out to my neighbor's house, holding a fire extinguisher. I swear to God, this is true. Thinking, what am I going to do with this fire extinguisher? And I look outside, and there's a man going up and down my driveway shouting. So he's like right there in my driveway, and he's shouting at my neighbor's house, is there anyone in the house? Is there anyone in the house? And I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? So I go out onto my porch, and I look at him. He said, the house is on fire. So he had already called 911. And I run out, and I'm still holding the fire extinguisher. And sure enough, their front porch was on fire. And I was like, well, as it so happens. So I got to use the fire extinguisher, which was actually really kind of fun. And I put the fire out on the porch with the fire extinguisher. And right as I'm like putting out the last of the fire truck, woo, pulls up. And they all get out, and they come with their hoses, and they put they hose it down for a while, even though the fire was still out. And they're like, wow, that's really awesome. I said, I totally just had this fire extinguisher. So they took the fire extinguisher from me so that I wouldn't have to dispose of it. And they took my name and phone number and address, and then I got a certificate for being like a good citizen or something.
Nice.
Well done.
But and then I didn't have to pack the fire extinguisher.
Yay.
So it turned out that they had guests over, and a guy was smoking a cigarette on the front porch, and when he was done, he just flicked it into a planter and walked back in the house.
Yes, ever.
Yeah, house caught on fire. So if you're smokers, be careful. It doesn't take very much to burn someone's house down with a carelessly discarded cigarette.
Wow.
Yikes.
Ian.
Yes, I did get a new fire extinguisher.